Rich Whitney from the Green Party, candidate for governor, joins me. Mr. Whitney, welcome.
Yes, good morning, Jerry.
Good to have you. Let's start with sort of a tough question, but I think a lot of people probably think of this as soon as I introduced you. What kind of realistic chance does a Green Party candidate have in the state of Illinois?
Oh, I think we have a very good chance, and none more so than 2010. If you look at the fact that discontent with both of the two corporate-sponsored parties is at an all-time high, and if you look particularly at the track record of recently elected governors, I would have to think that our chances are pretty good. In addition, there's the fact that we're now an established party in Illinois based on the success that we built in 2006. So instead of just being able to campaign for about 9 weeks and not being part of the debates and so on, all the disadvantages we had to overcome in 2006, we'll have much more time to do active campaigning. And you can expect a very competitive, vigorous campaign from all the Green Party candidates in 2010.
Well, certainly that scenario and that circumstance that you're alluding to exists in the minds of a lot of candidates. I mean, over on the Republican side, where I think there's now 7 of them, you have several people who are running for governor there who have not held any politically elected position before. I think a lot of non-incumbents of all parties think they have a pretty good shot this year.
One would hope so.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you just start from the premise, are you really happy with what the current regime in Springfield has been doing? You know, you would think that you would have a little bit of an advantage going in right there.
Yeah, I noticed on the Green Party page, not yours, but on the Green Party webpage in Illinois, you're right at the top. It says, "Our window of opportunity is here."
Yes.
Okay, let's get to some issues here. What do you think of the current budget situation, and what is the solution, you believe?
Well, I don't think I have to tell any of your listeners the current budget situation is dismal, and certainly what we've seen in the way of cutbacks to the public sector and trying to balance the budget on the backs of state workers or through a combination of more cigarette and alcohol taxes and more gambling, that's certainly not the solution. I believe that we do need to generate more revenue, and the common way to think of this is, oh, well, we need an income tax increase, and we do, but you can't think of it that way. What we really need is a restructuring of our tax system in Illinois so that we're taxing the right people. Right now, our tax system, when you combine state and local taxes and put them all together, we're taxing the bottom 20% in terms of income at more than double the rate of the top 1%. And this is fundamentally backward. And then we act surprised when we can't pay our bills for the necessary public services.
Wait a second. I'm not sure I follow your figures there. You say that people at the bottom end are paying double the rate of people at the top end?
That's correct. Partly because of our over-reliance on property taxes to fund our schools, as well as sales taxes.
Oh, I see what you mean. You weren't talking about an income tax rate. You were talking about the total tax burden.
You're right. When you combine everything, we're taxing the poorest 20% at more than double the rate of the top 1%. So, yes, we do need an income tax increase. We have to face reality here if we want, any measure of reasonable public services, if we want to be able to pay for our schools and take care of the elderly and so on. But in order to have the real way we need to solve the problem is to combine that with an earned income credit so that poor and middle income workers are not paying higher taxes. So if, for example, we raise the rate to 6%, which is the rate in Missouri and the rate in Kentucky, by the way, and couple that with an earned income credit so that people earning $70,000 a year or less are actually paying either the same or lower taxes than they are now, we could still raise the kind of revenue we need and move more in the direction of a more progressive tax system.
Talking to Rich Whitney. He's the Green Party candidate for governor in the state of Illinois. But one of the problems we have, Mr. Whitney, is that we're losing business. I've brought up on this series before that the governor of Indiana says one of the things that works so great for him is he's next to Illinois because business people are moving out. And if we continue to overtax them, how do we solve that problem?
Well, it's not a matter of overtaxing them. Look, there's more than one way to attract business to a state. We also need to look in terms of developing our own business. But the idea that we're going to solve our budget problem by entering this contest where the lowest tax state is going to win and all the corporations will move there, that's a race to the bottom. That cannot win, okay? That is a losing proposition. What we need to do is find other ways in which we're going to both grow and attract business, one of which would be through having a single-payer health care plan in the state of Illinois, which apparently is not going to be happening nationally. That's why I support House Bill 311. Another way is going to be to have a more advanced infrastructure in the state of Illinois so that we're focusing on sustainable transportation. And another way is to adequately fund our education system because people want to move where there are good schools and where you have a well-trained workforce and a better educated workforce. These are the kinds of things that I think if we spend our money more wisely, we can attract business and grow business in our state.
Do you think that the sole problem with, say, the Chicago public school system, which is possibly the worst in the state, is because they don't have enough money?
I'm not saying that's the sole problem, but it's a necessary component of the problem is that you need to solve the money problem. Illinois right now has the most unequal schools in the United States between richest and poorest districts. It's a disgrace. The gap is as much as I think something like $17,000 per pupil.
Wait a minute. We have somewhere around $10,000 per student in the Chicago public school system, and we do have school systems around the state that spend less than that, and they do not get the same horrible result.
Well, I can't speak to those, but I know that overall, most of it's the poor districts are the ones that don't get the same kind of result as far as actual achievement on standardized tests.